It is late, but you all need to know that Allah was used by the ancients to teach about the Trinity. Before the Old Testament, before Islam, which came after it, they're working together in relationship to proofs of intercampus, interscience, internation, international organized crime that criminally re engineered ancient revelations, and knowing they would affect a change in human nature that would be a self defended by everybody, with the nations defending pseudo identities only let realized, only let trained, self defense natures as our stewards with roles with this, top down distinctly from bottom up roles with it, but with a real problem of it being shared internation. And we can't see how this makes wars to hide, to stay hidden. It's late at night. So the Trinity is Allah in three parts. The A in three parts, the two L's, which are the value of two uppercase value L's because of eating and because of a phenomenon called diffusion, which the ancients reveal. This is demonstrable through correlation. In the AH is the final part of the Trinity. That's progressively. How unchanging positive is an identity, as a sequence nature in three positions. One longing as itself, as value A, as space value nature's only positive identity, and with all temporary space nature longing to that, and longing all else not that from it. This is where Leith of Hadith and where Hadith comes from. Common sense. Leith of Hadith and Hadith were with the ancients. Those terms. So why were they in the Old Testament? Why are they with because the messengers of religions, that's what they're saying. Human education was already criminally re-engineered. They didn't have control of it. That means they have control of all the sciences. That means they have the control over all the legal natures. That means they have control over everything with the lies people tell top down. Now, what is the Old Testament about? How no one will put anything in writing, and they killed Jesus. Why? Because they didn't want him to talk. Same thing they did with Jesus. Some people they pretend to be Jesus lovers, but then they hate just Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar died right before. That's what he was trying to fight. They killed him right in the Senate. That's because they couldn't do it in writing. And people say, "Oh, the sciences have been because they have everyone entertaining delusions, forced as convictions, like passions, especially regarding our founders. They were extorted. They were extorted and didn't have free speech. Even in letters, they didn't. That was the nature of it. And they thought we'd be able to figure this out by now. They thought free speech would gain. It has not. It has not. And it has not because we have top-down internation and homeland legal natures that are blaming it on every other thing. They're dividing and conquering us because they're making excuses for their roles with these cities. They're messing them up. They're hurting the people. I seen it. Forget about it. Everybody saw it. Anybody who knows urban campuses, it's like a daycare. You know what I'm saying? It's worse than that though, because of all the uncharged things with psychology. There's in Weathersfield, Connecticut too. For example, a guy I met only one time made all these confessions. Police confirmed some of his non-verbally, and then they do bad things to women in these apartments because they need money and stuff like that. And that's why they don't talk about it because they say, "Oh, that's life, it's money." It's evidence fabrication nature because if everyone kept it real, then we would say human standards are no good, not just for the girls in their apartments. and their roles with police using them mentally for interbranch families using them for evidence fabrications into police forms too. This is a more complicated thing. Police is a needed thing. That's what the president's trying to say. We must understand what's trying to be taken from us, and that's what they do. They make us not like the police because the police aren't alone. They're supposed to work with people, but the database. We have a database problem in this country, and no one understands it because they've been doing it through time. Psychology. We have psychologists who attach me to fake conversations. They forge doctors' names. They forge Dr. Shamsi Ali's name. Then to cover up about it, they pretend they talked to me about this after. I've never had a conversation with these people. They're liars. You know what I'm saying? There's a Leahy family that works with the Hartford Hospital. I don't know. Well, let's forget it. Go back to the Trinity. So the A, the top of the A, the top of that's value A, we'll call it. Capital value A. It's completely unchanging positive value. Three ways. Two invisible. But because they're two invisible in diffusion through each other as the same identity, a third way is discernible, being the center of the A. So we have the two space natures. Those are drawn just like the three parts of the A are drawn. Two completely positive, high bars, long bars, and two longing bars, and one completely longing bar, invisible, going up to the top of the A. That's high. That's the height. It's not just the height they teach you in grammar school when you're learning to do the letters. This is this is um this is more. This is about L stands for longing. In other words, that's the longing of the height, which is the complete nature of the, the whole nature of positive identity. That's what we share this to understand it because it's expanding through immediate space nature. But except for the negative value nature progressions that humanity is causing, because of campus, human the one unchanging positive in demonstration to humanity commonly, because it revealed campuses, because science is before criminal engineering, criminally legalized persuasions, and overtly internation criminal persuasions. Before all this, there was a nature that had revealed humanity, not to psychology, but to probably what they called algebraic consciousness. And this is what we're going to learn, because psychology is killing us. I'm not a doctor, and we're gonna learn about this because they attach me to lies, and they've been telling lies about me in the street for years. They have drug problems too. The same people that are asking to help people that go in there, they're faking evidences and everything. Um, they have their patients involved in it. So the capital A is the one part, and the third part of it is invisible longing, and the two L's are longing, and then AH is what we are. Man and woman as one species value three ways. Not just as the man and the woman, but as the Trinity. There's the species, and then that's still in correlation with the rest of what um consciousness and no diffusion with no criminal persuasions is diffusing through Earth. This is what the ancients more probably believe. Consciousness with no criminal persuasions is the nature that causes is it because it's complete nature of space nature's positive identity causes positive value nature progressions. This is what evolution is. The evolution the term came from. So there are proofs that they attach terms like evolution to lock down theories and name droppings and time wasting things. So you can't show what real science knows. That being real positive value nature progressively. This causes positive value nature progressions. This causes evolution. And being negative value nature causes negative value nature progressions. Why? Because positive value overall is making more of itself. And when it stops being able to do that, it forces negative value nature to transfer away from here. Leith of Hades, that's space value nature transfer. And Hades is that progressively, because once our identities are gone through our bodies, our value nature, our identities, it's a value. Once our value in our nature, it's a value nature because it's an identity of consciousness. But value system is in demonstration of this. There's one unchanging positive value. And we know it's positive because the ancients revealed these terms. Sabotaged, obfuscated, to perpetuate justifications of obfuscations of it only realized blamed on other things. This is more probably what the sciences are about, not ghosts and crazy things. These books are with cipher. This is why Jesus says, I am the Alpha and I am the Omega. Alphabet. Where did we get the English language from? Alphabet. Where do we get these? Alpha. This is the value A. In our hands, from our perspective, is the alpha. But it's only one nature of a complete nature longing to and everything not that from itself in temporary value nature, which is the two L's, value all. And that perfect positive in temporary value nature, also it causes positive value nature progressions, which is value AH. And that's either maintained here or not. And when it is maintained here, that's what it is, value AH, because the N, which is A, for value A, the definite article, the indefinite article A and and. We only have two indefinite articles, A and. The indefinite article A, the ancients probably used this to refer to the male. Lowercase, because now we're temporary value nature. We're not complete positive values nature. But our identities can be. And we're supposed to be able to correlate this. Because the only unchanging positivism is demonstration of this always. So, and the female is the other indefinite article, an. When we are that value, we are the same value. And the n becomes high, AH. That's where that comes from. Ancient times. I'm not saying this is the Quran, but the Quran is demonstrably mistreated by educational convictions being attached to it. And psychologies, with her conviction natures as evidence, fabrication natures, not admitting it to themselves in the media. The media is doing wrong with it because that's the only campus they had. But it's because these are, no one's being honest because they're being trained. That's only training being realized. And everybody is Oz to that. And not by accident. You know what I'm saying? My theory is that it was foreign police. Because this whole thing with the World Trade Center, that's not just our police. Our world, America begins with how our founders were still extorted. They still terrorized. They didn't have free speech. They have a plan to do damage control for what was playing these games. Was playing these games with everyone not being able to describe who the enemy was. So blaming it on each other. So what our founders did was change up, make them lose control of that so they could take a footing into it. But it wasn't deep enough because they were already entrenched too deep. So we have evidence fabrication natures, her indifference, her conviction natures and differences being You wouldn't believe how sick prisons have been since before our founding, and still, and hospitals. What's wasting the space in our hospitals? No, we have to see together. We're gonna see because no one will respond in writing. They keep telling me to sue them, but they're also actively obfuscating my ability to communicate with the attorney general consciously. So, and they're tight and they're involved with the database, things that are gonna we're gonna need help. I'm not a police officer. I'm not a lawyer, and you really can't have a lawyer. There's no lawyers that you can't you there's not lawyers that do this. You need the real police because it has too many agencies involved with recorded crimes, slanders of me and stuff like that, and threats. They have women scared, because they communicated. They didn't use these words in the court, but they demonstrated that they're aware that they were fabricating evidences on a bunch of police reports with a whole bunch of officers from different towns for the same arrest. I only went to um, CCSU one time to go report recorded threats and mailbox name switchings and stuff like that, and like other federal crimes like people um, with sick threats connected to them and confessions connected to them online, and they were posting fake legal cases, slandering me before this and stuff like that. It's crazy. So then they they're slandering extreme Islam. They're playing these games with linguistics and attached to what is attached to our courts with internation. International, we have things common. They have psychology common. There's sick delusions we read these books with the psychology, and you meet well what a sneaky misprision interlocking systems they have with them, and they have it attached to court, and so they insulate a whole bunch of ways to evidence fabricate because that's the only way we'll realize. We have to have forgiveness, and we have to confess to ourselves. We have to know we're broke. I'm not saying throw out all the branches in jail. I'm not saying be the same thing. That's what they want. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying counter by hating each person's name. I named some people on here in some other video. I don't even like to. I can't even put what I say because I want to use their names. They do that tactic too. They have people make confessions about bad things, strangers, and then they get mad if you want to say something because they already used to pretend delusions with police. Because there's all kinds of police investigations that go through each other, and then it's scary too. My whole family scared. Cops came with guns drawn and they were acting like they were going to shoot and stuff like that. I'm never going to shoot anybody. So I don't know why they will come here like that. And they also know that they fabricated information to do that. They're scared now because they did so many evidence fabrications, which are crimes. They did so many crimes juxtaposed with people they did it through, like the people with the confessions online to me that I verified online. Strangers sought me out to make confessions about untimely deaths, body dumpings, drugs with police, prostitution with police, all these different people with connections to them. You know what I'm saying? So then they're carrying a narrative with the psychos connected to the police that they're sending up to me, and they're doing it interstate. You know what I'm saying? I can't even exercise because I'm every day I have to have a response too because they have games through other schools too that they play. They threaten me not to talk about by putting lies in the databases, and they won't show me police reports. They lie, pretending they did. They show me ones that they admitted had fabrications on them, officers with name switchings from other previous things in my town. They brought one of the guys involved with that from my town in as a transport because I got like all these they had all these different times they kept messing up the police report for one the same arrest. All I did was go to CCSU and say, let me report was go there and ask them to see a teacher. Then the guy wouldn't let me leave, so I wasn't even talking to him. Then he kept asking me questions. Then he told me the lady had a new name. So I told him, oh, well, that's why I wanted to talk to her, because someone put use his name. I didn't mention about seeing her in my town, but it was connected to it because another guy with one of the other Weathersfield police who was threatening us late at night came to my house, threatening us about his relationship to Frank. We didn't understand. My mother told me this when he went to her house. And he was saying stuff, and she couldn't understand. Told him to leave. And they keep saying stuff to them, making them scared about my internet posts. But they make grandiose allegations, have no things. So then my parents, my parents don't even. So they make people, they come to tell me that there's something wrong with my post, but they have no facts. You know what I'm saying? And they're getting them scared because they have the guns out. It really looked like they were going to try to pretend they shoot by mistake or something like that. I saw this on the internet and stuff. It's crazy because they also affected all these. They affected confessions about the body dumping of Billy Grasso, all kinds of people with confessions about Subby Scalora and with them threatening rapes and stuff like that. Then they bring up little schools and stuff like that, and I'm threatened not to mention it by the people who did this first. There's something wrong here, and they won't give me anything on paper because they know they did the lies the first time attached to it. They put me in there, and after they had us come 6 times, after the first time they told us that they realized that they were fabricating police reports. And then while that time was going, someone involved with the court started sending me rape threats online, threatening to rape women in their. I can't even repeat it, and so that's what they do. So many other things like that I can't repeat because people just shut down and they freak out because they're connected to it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know these people. I didn't tell them to get all tied up in that stuff when they were kids. Don't bring me into it. You know what I'm saying? People at the court did that too. That people involved with other evidence fabrication before. I've been trying to report this stuff since I've been doing it. I didn't realize it was how related it was to 9/11, but I wanted to talk about that anyways. Before that, so. The Trinity is the 3 parts of Allah. The A, value A, 2 L's, and AH. And this is invisible, inherent to 0, value 0. We're going to learn algebra. I didn't read this in books. I figured this out with English. Because this is between the law. I correlated between what a predicate act is and what a predicate that is in English, which is with an unchanging positive identity. It's a range of it. Okay. Now I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a police officer, and I'm not a criminal. But a predicate act is caused by the negative value nature of a criminal enterprise, and I'm going to explain this how I think that religions want us to explain it. They want us to explain. For example. Take something as sick as slavery. Now, don't get emotional because that's what they want. You know what I'm saying? That's what that tactic was for. Is linguistic. You know what I'm saying? No. And then the witch trials. That's just the surface of it. You know what I'm saying? They had sick. Psychology's been too long sick with Hartford, Connecticut. Slavery, history of it. It's bad. We have a bad gangland state here, known and further demonstrable. And we have with the sensibilities of the police that are psychological extortion. They were delusion propagate of psychology, so they can't explain themselves. So what they want to do is keep everyone top down lies. You know what I'm saying? That's not real positive. So we need police. We need to understand that, but we need to understand positive. And every side, every type is in this game, which is a linguistic game. There's a law. There's a legal problem to never have. We're in this age. We still don't have slavery addressed. We don't understand the tactics they used to do this. This was to divide and conquer. That little physical delusions attached to that saying. This is a linguistic game, and we have to use real facts with this. But we don't have that because we have hurt conviction natures. We have evidence fabrication natures throughout the nations. So what we have to do is admit real facts treatments, and the police aren't letting this. So we have to understand that. So I asked too many times. See, one of the reasons they're doing, one of the ways they're doing that is by pretending that all police lies have a reason. And even if they do, there are natures of organized crime that have never been charged. And it's time we have them charged. You know what I'm saying? You just don't let people stay with colonial standards. They had colonial standards, homes that if colonists trying to build them any better, the same people who had the same terror laws, witch trials, and slavery, and six things, they had laws. If you met to go build a house, and you didn't do it, you didn't apply through the database monitored international thing. Watch out! They're going to kill you. They're going to kill your family. You know what I'm saying? That's how colonization was. So everyone had fear control in their minds, and that's what's happened in my family for a long time because the police been ever since police been threatening since I lived on Covington Street more directly, with a really threatened with guns and stories about how they tried to kill people in gangland. How the demonstration of how all these other people with the apartments and the leasing agent's son in there sharing the girl with all kind of guys, and a police guy sharing her with all kinds of criminals, and then the leasing agent's son with his involvement with I don't know his name. I never had a conversation with him. There was one kid who stepped in my place. I don't know if it was him. Not kid, it was a guy, young man, but the place was with 50,000 rackets going on at once. You know what I'm saying, with the neighbors too, and police families, very sick police families with threats and stuff like that. So then you gotta need to do the facts. So I can't get anyone to do the facts because they know they're in trouble. They already attached too many lies to it. They had they had the all exploited girls would make confessions and switch in positions because they were trying to all do maintenance to all the what they were already holding illusions and needing to lie about, which they confessed tied to the court too. They're putting defendants and plaintiffs to project the same illusion, like with these Alicias and with Alina's Pizza Bar on Park Street and stuff like that. These people pretending they know me. They pretended they were someone else, a different Maggie. And then we figured out after. And then there's the Maggie was like, she did, okay, forget that. Disgusting people taking advantage of the poor people on Park Street. The people in Lena's Cafe. And then Eric Burgess said that they were involved with evidence fabrications with him because he was a bouncer there and stuff like that. I don't even know this kid. He was just a college drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? I was doing my report on he was going to be my informant for CCSU, but then it got complicated because he brought into they had a police from a court. He made confessions about that too. And then they started changing their statements and making confessions about bank robberies, stuff. I don't know, and other courts. So the Trinity. So they are on